South Pass is just like a really small local park. It's like little wooden ramps. They're just fun. My favorite thing to skate is bowls, and just because you can get going really, really fast. But this is one of my favorite parks too, because it's kind of mess around, and wood is a lot more forgiving than concrete. There's a lot more attention on younger artists, I think, in Los Angeles, and there's just a lot more galleries that will give opportunities to younger artists, and it's easier for even emerging galleries.
How did you tie in your skateboarding with your art stuff?
Well, I have been thinking about kind of the way that kind of like laws of physics kind of tie in.
Has that always been your interest?
I've always been interested in physics. I just found that physics was like a way to explain and interact with, you know, things around you in a non-didactic way. That physics could be really personal. So something like flying, something like skateboarding, going really fast, feeling that centrifugal force. I was always interested in things like that, and this was the physical way that I could explore it. I, at one point, had started taking photographs of the night sky, astrophotography, by using long exposure, leaving the shutter open, and it's a way to kind of prove to yourself that the Earth is really turning. You know, even the most simple notion, it's not just about making an image, but it's about that interaction of, you know, of the space. And my last show in New York, I did a series of large-scale paintings, like 10 feet by 6 feet, 6 feet by 7 feet, of images of female skateboarders that I had taken photos of or had been taking photos of myself, where the boards and the ramps and everything was removed. And that it was just this like person interacting with this force. So it would be like centrifugal force or some sort of like gravity or vibration. And from there, I kind of took it another step, and that's how I got to these photos. But this is like a 4 or 5 minute shot. And then I drop into the half pipe and skate back and forth.
Well, what's the light on your wrist or something? What
so then I just
attach
a bike light, or I've tried different lights, like flashing lights, laser lights. You know, all of this is very experimental. Even just, not only do I have an interest in science, but I really like the idea of, you know, kind of thinking very experimentally, and I just follow the concept. So, you know, for me, jumping around from, you know, paintings to drawings to photos, most of them have a very similar, you know, a very similar conceptual practice.
A few more of these.
Yeah.
These are really interesting.
These are some of the preliminary ones.
How'd you do this one?
That one I used a special kind of film, a slide film that was then processed differently and a different light. This one was in my backyard, and I used a strobe light. Again, in the beginning I was very, you know, experimenting a lot. And like here, so this is just to give you an idea of how, this looks so bright, but this right here, that's an 11-foot bowl. This you drop in at 6 feet, and this was taken at 1 in the morning. It's Duarte in city right outside of Pasadena. When I was a young girl, my father would take me out and make me stand and look at the waves, and he'd talk about the line of the waves and the way that you physically you know, interact with something. And I've always been interested in how a skateboarder sees things in a different way. Like you would see a bench and a bank. And just growing up skateboarding my whole life, I see, okay, if I come off that bench, front side, you know, in kind of a different language, that I'm physically relating to the architecture in a different way. And I kind of like the idea that these are all, you know, they're all kind of like self-portraits of where I've been. My photographer, Meredith, we've been working together for about 10 months. She's fantastic. She's a film director.
So she's helping you set up these scenes?
So she totally works the camera. So,
And this is all, well, you're saying you have to break into these locations because they are...
not all of them. I mean, this is like we just walked into the LA River. And, but we were, I guess about 3 months ago, we were chased by the police in Bronson Canyon in the Hollywood Hills. That was pretty fantastic. I keep saying this every year. I'm not going to go to the hospital again, and I'm not going to get in trouble with the law anymore. But it just keeps...
How many times have you been incarcerated?
I've never been arrested, but I have been detained and chased many times. The photos are really about, I like the idea that they could be abstracted into something that wasn't about skateboarding. Because it really is about this, for me it's not about the skateboarding culture, it's about the interaction of this feeling of the physics behind it. And this is a new series that I'm working on that is kind of like simplistic physics and people interacting with it.
Is it about when you ran into the bushes and hid from the cops?
This one is based on kind of light diffusing and light becoming like just as physical as other things around you. So, so this photo, we wanted to get something that incorporated, I really feel it's important to represent Los Angeles, you know, that kind of, whether it's the culture of it or my life, that, you know, it's not like I'm taking these photos to make art. This is my regular life. I skate on a regular basis, and so in different locations, whether it's street skating at my, you know, in a backyard ramp, in a ditch, or at a skate park.